onto the phones with us is Luke. Luke from For King and Country. How are you doing today, Luke?
I'm doing so well. This is like a regular thing that we're doing at this point.
It really is.
Months. Good.
3 times in 3 months. You know, we talked about Spirit Song back in June, and then we got a chance to talk about Point Fest recently, and now we are talking about your brand new album. It dropped today. It's called Burn the Ships. How excited are you guys?
Man, it's kind of a strange thing where you see this date on the horizon and you're kind of like, this is never going to happen, right? And then you're here. And we had this crazy moment last night where we were up in New York City for a show at Times Square, and so we had an extra day off, and so we stayed up there. And sure enough, we're up in Times Square, and a billboard changes at midnight, and there's like my brother Joel and I's massive face on a billboard at Times Square, and you're like, this is not normal. This is very strange. And so, there's things like that take place that you're like, this is crazy, And but here we are, October 5th, release day, and I'm getting to talk to you.
That's awesome. So what did you guys do to celebrate the release of the album today, other than go to Times Square and see you guys' faces on a billboard?
Well, last night was really the celebration. So far, you've just got my morning talking breath that's struggling to work. That's the celebration I've got today. And last night, my wife, Courtney, and I were with Joel and some of our other folks, and we were just, there's a Starbucks on Times Square, and they've got like some seating area where you can just kind of sit in the middle of Times Square. And we were there for probably an hour and a half. And it was kind of we had to collect some, different content for different things. And it was kind of just this amazing moment being like, hey, I mean, look where we are. And we're here, and we're getting, the album is going to be out in moments. And so there was actually some reflection that took place. Like, man, we started working on this. There was a song that was written on this album that was written 3 years ago now.
Wow.
And, that's a long time ago. And so it's been a long time in the making. It's been 4 years since the previous album was out. And so this has kind of, been, there's times when you make an album that you don't think it's actually ever going to be finished, or that you're capable of finishing it emotionally. And so, you get to these moments and you do celebrate it because there's a lot of people behind these songs and these melodies.
Oh, well, I definitely want to talk a little bit more about the songs that are on the album, and if someone has not had a chance to get it yet and listen to the full thing, what they can kind of expect. But first, a very important question. You said you were sitting at Starbucks. Pumpkin spice lattes, yay or nay?
Usually, yes, but it was late, and I wasn't sure about the sugar intake. So I was like, you know what, going with the regular latte here. But usually, pumpkin spice latte is like what my wife and I do the moment that they come out. It's like tradition every year. So definitely love those things. And now it's good because Starbucks has made it with actual real pumpkin now. So that's particularly good.
Okay. Well, yeah, so it's not the artificial flavor. So you've got...
Yeah, it used to be like 2 years ago, but now it's not.
Makes you feel a little bit better about drinking them. Because it's a vegetable or something.
It's a vegetable. You're drinking vegetables, something like that.
So with this new album, you guys have been counting down. You've been giving us the track list on your Twitter. Now, if you could only keep one of these songs, I'm sure they're all your babies. You've been doing this, for 3+ years. If you can only keep one, what song do you choose?
There's probably the title track of the album, "Burn the Ships," is probably the song that I would keep. It just, to me, it tells a story. I heard a story about an explorer many years ago who went to a foreign land, and when he went to the land, he called his men to, hey, we're going to go explore. We're going to get out of these ships, and we're going to go and search the horizon. We're going to search the mountains. And when he called everybody out, he realized that they didn't want to leave the ships. They didn't want to leave the dirty, grimy, small areas of the ships not because it was good, but because it was familiar and it was safe to them. And so soon after that, he calls them back onto the shoreline again. He says, I want every soldier off of those ships. And when he gets them all to the shoreline, he gives his generals the command to burn the ships. Because he said, we're not retreating. We're moving forward. We're stepping into a new world. And I think that represents so much of what needs to take place in a lot of people's lives, in my life. There's a lot of things that in our past that consume us, and we don't think that we can move ahead. We think that we're just bound for the things that the mistakes or whatever we've made in our past. And that story was very, very inspiring to me, and reflects a story that, something that my wife and I have walked through, and it's a very deeply personal song for us.
Now, with the album, you also dropped the music video for this one. So we've seen so many music videos from you guys off of this album. You guys have definitely, you've taken the music videos to a whole new level. Every single one tells a great story, but this one is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm going to spoil it for people. You actually burn a ship in the music video.
Yes.
So,
yes. If you think that we actually burn the ship, then we've done our job.
Well, maybe you didn't officially burn the ship, but it looks like you burned the ship, and that's what matters.
That's what matters. That's what matters. I just couldn't say yes, and God be like, liar.
Tell us about that music video. There's an interesting dichotomy that's happening between you and Joel in this, and you keep singing, "Don't Look Back," and Joel's keeping, he keeps looking back at this burning ship. Tell us kind of about what was going on in you guys' head with the vision of this.
Well, the story really is that, hey, there's this man who has this boat, and this boat is everything. It's his world, but it's not healthy. It's an obsession that is not good. And so I play this character where I'm going on there. I was like, buddy, we gotta get out of here. We gotta burn this ship. That when you burn this ship, it will free you from so much. And so we filmed this music video up in Seattle. We actually did jump off this boat, which all of the official folks were. We had an EMT standing by, all that stuff. They were all freaked out because literally, you jumping off this boat. I was told the water was 43 degrees, which I don't think is possible because that's just unbelievably cold. But that's what they said. And you're like in a bay and nobody's around you, and you're just swimming with all your clothes on, your shoes, everything. And so it was a very unique experience, but I feel like it's worth it because the music video is making a big point and a big statement, and I will jump in the freezing cold water to do that.
You guys ended up in the water a lot during these music videos.
Yeah, we ended up in the water a lot. I don't know what it is. I think it's the fact that water and shooting, music videos or just film in general is difficult. And so I think my older brothers, hey, I'm just doing this just to mess with my little brothers.
So there's a little bit of conspiracy going on, is what you're saying.
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay. Oh, the album's been out, 10 hours, and we're already at each other's throats. Sibling rivalry at its best, right?
No.
Now, I did see something on Twitter that you guys may have booked your first Australia show. Is that happening?
That is exactly true. Yes, we're actually going to be doing a show in the Sydney Opera House, which is crazy because my dad actually is a concert promoter in Australia, and he grew up doing, I grew up going to shows at the Sydney Opera House that he was promoting. So we're going to go next year, January or February, and we're going to go do a show in the Sydney Opera House, which will be the first time we've been to our homeland to play this music.
That's insane. So congratulations on that. It's crazy that you've never had a show in your home, in your home. But we're glad that we've gotten this chance to see you, and we know that you are going to just rock that opera house because they have no idea what's coming to them.
Yeah, well, you have to say that because we're talking on the phone, but I appreciate that.
I've been to your concerts a handful of times, so even if we weren't live on the air and recording for other people to hear and put on the internet for the rest of history, you guys put on a great stage show. So.
Well, you're very kind. Thank you.
We appreciate that. Well, congratulations once again on the dropping of your new album. It's called Burn the Ships. We are so excited that we are playing a handful of the songs off of that album, and we're excited that we got a chance to talk to you again today.
Hey, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for always being such a great supporter and such a great interview. Always good to chat, and I'll see you next month.
Okay, so sounds good. We're gonna keep this going. It's a monthly thing now, Luke.
Exactly.
Mark it on your calendar. Let's make this happen.
Let's go.
God bless. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.